As Father Time marches on, the question of what to do with a family home becomes a greater concern. Studies have shown that 90% of married couples and 62% of single persons reach retirement owning their own homes. And in many cases, the home is too large for their current needs and difficult or expensive to maintain. Consequently, many people would like to sell their house, move to a smaller one, maybe even a condominium. In certain areas, homes have increased tremendously in value. And even with a home exclusion, there's often a hefty capital gains tax still to pay. In this video, I'll outline one technique that allows the sale of a home without a large capital gains tax. Churches need to understand this technique as well, because there's a big benefit inherent in its application for the church. So meet Libby. Libby's a widow. Her husband George died 2 years ago. She lives in New Jersey. She's 66 years old and a retired psychologist. George and Libby lived in the same community for their entire married life. They bought a small home a couple years after their marriage, and then when children came along, they bought a bigger one. As their careers progressed and their family grew, they ultimately bought the home Libby lives in now. They paid $200,000 for it, and it's now free and clear. Homes in their area have increased in value tremendously. It's now worth $1 million too. Libby has had 2 years since George died to collect her thoughts. The home is much too large for her needs, and the upkeep, especially the lawn, bushes, and trees, are expensive to maintain. So she's made a decision to move to Sarasota, Florida. She'd like to buy a condominium close to the water, and her preference is to pay cash. However, in consulting with her accountant, she has discovered that the sale of her home will result in a huge capital gains tax. Libby, George, and their accountant are lifelong church friends. If Libby were to simply sell the home herself, she would have a capital gain of $1 million. This is the sales value of the home, $1.2 million, less the original purchase price, $200,000. Against this $1 million gain, Libby can apply her home exclusion as a single person of $250,000 and is then left with a gain of $750,000. Given a 15% capital gains tax rate, she would owe $112,500. Here's the accountant's alternative plan, which allows her to extract enough money from the sale of her home to pay cash for a Florida condo, pay no capital gains tax, create a safe lifetime income, receive a tax deduction large enough to probably not pay any income taxes for the next 6 years, and provide a benefit for the church Libby and George attended their entire adult lives. Here are the numbers from the accountant's zero tax plan. First, the plan allows for Libby to extract $600,000 from the sale of her home without paying capital gains tax and buy a condo in Florida for cash. The plan creates an income of $36,000 a year that increases a little each year as an inflation offset. Her life expectancy is 20 years, so the total income amounts to $800,000 over this 20-year period of time. In addition, she has a $256,000 income tax deduction she can use up over the next 6 years. It's a pretty good bet she won't owe any taxes for these 6 years. And then finally, when she dies, the church she has attended all her life will receive $733,000. Which looks like a better plan to you? Now, how many people in the United States have situations like Libby's? And bear in mind that the leading edge of the 60 million baby boom generation is only 63 this year. How many of those will have the same problem and concerns? How many would be interested in exploring the accountant's plan? But the real question is how many even know that there's an accountant's plan to explore? Probable answer, a pitifully small number. So if you represent a church, you really need to know this plan because it can help you build an endowment fund. This is Bob Cavanaugh with The Smart Giver.